Every superhero universe has that one villain who completely steals the show, and then there's that other one who probably should have stayed in the drafts. We're going through the best and absolute worst from each major franchise, starting with the crown jewel of chaos himself. DC gave us the Joker.
Hi.
And honestly, what else needs to be said? This guy doesn't need superpowers, a tragic backstory we can sympathize with, or even a clear motive half the time.
Now I see the funny side. Now I'm always smiling.
He just exists to watch the world burn, and somehow that makes him more terrifying than any alien invasion.
I understood that reference.
Heath Ledger's version in The Dark Knight took this to another level entirely. The hospital scene alone, where he's casually walking away from an explosion in a nurse outfit, is pure cinema, but it's the interrogation room that really shows what makes Joker work.
What is this? It's a meme, Batman. I don't understand. What do you not understand?
He's not trying to win, he's trying to prove everyone's as twisted as he is, just one bad day away from losing it completely. The magic trick scene at the beginning of The Dark Knight set the tone instantly. Making a pencil disappear by slamming someone's face into it, that's commitment to the bit. And when he tells different stories about his scars to different people, you realize the truth doesn't even matter to him.
Well, I'm the Joker, baby!
He's rewriting his own history in real time just to mess with people. Every version of the Joker brings something unique. Jack Nicholson gave us theatrical menace. Heath Ledger delivered anarchist philosophy. Joaquin Phoenix showed us the descent into madness. But they all share that core unpredictability that keeps you glued to the screen. Meanwhile, DC also thought it was a good idea to give us Polka-Dot Man. Yes, you read that right.
Go! You can't. Whose mess is this? You put him on the TV. Bro,
this guy's superpower is basically throwing disco fever at people. In the Suicide Squad, they tried to make him sympathetic with the whole mommy issues angle, where he sees his abusive mother in everyone's face. Sure, that's dark, but it doesn't change the fact that his entire aesthetic looks like a rejected bowling alley carpet design. His dots are supposed to be deadly, and technically they are, but it's really hard to take a threat seriously when it looks like a kindergarten art project gone wrong. The man literally gets stepped on by a giant alien starfish.
I'm a motherfucking super.
That's how his story ends, squished like a bug by Starro. At least he got a better send-off than being forgotten entirely, which honestly might have been more merciful. Marvel understood the assignment with Thanos. This isn't some power-hungry tyrant throwing tantrums. Thanos genuinely believes he's the hero of his own story, trying to save the universe through the most twisted form of mercy killing imaginable.
Genocide.
But random, dispassionate, fair to rich and poor alike. They called me a madman.
Infinity War built him up perfectly, showing that he's not just strong, he's strategic. The guy collected all 6 Infinity Stones while everyone else scrambled to stop him, and that moment when he snaps his fingers.
Hey, Vsauce, Michael here.
Pure silence. No dramatic music, just the sound of half the universe turning to dust. The follow-up in Endgame showed us a Thanos who won, retired to a peaceful farm, and genuinely seemed content. Then when past Thanos learns he succeeds, his reaction isn't celebration. It's annoyance that the Avengers won't just accept their fate. His line about being inevitable became instantly iconic because he actually backed it up. What makes Thanos work is that you can almost see his twisted logic. Resources are finite. Population grows exponentially, so why not just cut the population in half? It's horrifying, but he commits to it fully. He even sacrifices Gamora, the only person he actually loves, to get the Soul Stone. That's dedication to the cause, however messed up that cause might be. Then Marvel gave us Modok in Quantumania, and I'm still trying to figure out what happened there. They took a character who's literally a giant head with tiny limbs and somehow made him worse.
This is disgusting.
Darren Cross gets shrunk into the quantum realm and becomes this floating monstrosity that looks like a deep-fried meme.
This is disgusting.
The CGI on his face is so uncanny valley that it's distracting every time he's on screen. And his redemption arc, the guy who tried to weaponize Pym particles and murder people suddenly has a change of heart because Scott Lang gave him a pep talk. Make it make sense. His sacrifice at the end was supposed to be this touching moment, but it landed flatter than his character development. Modok works in comics because they lean into the absurdity. In a movie trying to have serious stakes with Kang, he's just awkward.
And at least I died an Avenger.
Invincible brought us Conquest, and this Viltrumite makes every fight personal. When he shows up, you know someone's getting absolutely demolished. His first major appearance has him literally ripping through heroes like they're paper.
The time I spent killing him might have given you a moment to gather your thoughts. Maybe even outwit me. I am conquesting it. I am conquesting it. I am conquesting it. You need to goon mark.
What sets Conquest apart is his pure brutality combined with Viltrumite honor code. He respects strength, but he'll tear you apart without hesitation if you stand in his way. The extended fight between him and Invincible spans an entire episode, and it's just raw, visceral combat with no cuts away. You feel every hit, every broken bone, every desperate moment where Mark is just trying to survive. Conquest doesn't monologue about his evil plan, he just fights, and he's terrifyingly good at it. Even when he loses an arm, he barely slows down. Now I know Thrag is technically the ultimate Viltrumite threat in the comics, and he makes Conquest look like a warm-up act, but since we haven't seen him in action on screen yet, Conquest holds the crown for now. On the opposite end, Invincible also gave us Doc Seismic, who's basically a discount mole man with anger management issues. His whole deal is causing earthquakes because he's mad about surface dwellers or something equally forgettable.
You're trash, Brock.
Every major fight he's in gets resolved within minutes, and his giant mech suit somehow loses to a teenager who just got his powers. His motivation is barely explained beyond generic eco-terrorism talking points, and by the time he's defeated, you've already forgotten why he showed up in the first place. He's basically filler content, given a villain title. Speaking of unmemorable, the boys introduced us to Translucent, whose power is turning invisible. Groundbreaking stuff. His name doesn't even make sense because Translucent means letting light through, not invisible. The show literally makes fun of its own character for this. His entire villain presence amounts to creeping in bathrooms and getting cocky until Huey shoves a bomb up his rear end. Yeah, that's how he goes out. Not in some epic battle or clever takedown, just an explosive suppository. They stuffed him in a suitcase afterwards like he was leftover luggage. Meanwhile, Homelander represents everything terrifying about unchecked power wrapped in a patriotic costume.
Wow.
What makes him genuinely unsettling is that he could snap and murder everyone at any moment, and there's basically nothing anyone could do to stop him. He's not conquering the world or collecting infinity stones. He just wants to be loved and worshipped, and when he doesn't get that validation, people die. The scene where he abandons an entire plane full of passengers because saving them would damage his image. That's not traditional villain behavior. That's sociopathic indifference disguised as pragmatism.
Yummers.
He lasers a guy's face off for throwing a bottle at his son, then makes his son watch. He forces Starlight into situations that make your skin crawl, all while maintaining this squeaky clean public image. The duality is what makes him work. He's Superman if Superman was a narcissistic man-child with zero moral compass. Every smile feels like a threat. Every compliment sounds like manipulation. You're never quite sure when he'll snap, which keeps tension maxed out whenever he's on screen. Switching universes, Star Wars gave us Darth Vader, the gold standard for tragic villains turned into breathing nightmares. The prequels showed us Anakin's fall from promising Jedi to child-murdering Sith Lord. The original trilogy showed us the mechanical monster he became. That hallway scene in Rogue One where he just annihilates rebel soldiers? That's the Vader everyone feared, but never got to see in full action until then. His breathing alone became one of the most recognizable sounds in cinema history. James Earl Jones's voice work turned what could have been a guy in a plastic suit into an imposing force of nature. The revelation that he's Luke's father became the plot twist that defined a generation.
I am your father.
Even his redemption arc worked because it was earned through genuine sacrifice, not some quick change of heart. He threw the Emperor down a reactor shaft to save his son, finally breaking free from decades of darkness. Jabba the Hutt, however, is just a giant slug who sits on a throne and laughs creatively. His whole operation gets taken down by one blind guy with a stick, a princess with a chain, and some well-placed thermal detonators. For a crime lord who supposedly controls the underworld, he sure went out like a chump. His palace is full of random creatures and musical numbers that stop the entire plot momentum. The Sarlacc pit execution plan was so overcomplicated it basically guaranteed failure. Just shoot them, Jabba. You're a crime boss, not a Bond villain. His death by chain choking is iconic for Leia, sure, but it doesn't make Jabba any less of a disappointing antagonist. He's essentially a set piece that talks. Let's start with Syndrome, who absolutely nails what villainy should be. This guy isn't some random threat who shows up wanting world domination. He's got history with Mr. Incredible, personal stakes that cut deep. Remember when he was just Buddy, that overeager kid desperate to help his hero?
Fly home, buddy. I work alone.
Unrejection. That's all it took to transform worship into a 15-year revenge plot. Most villains need elaborate backstories, but Syndrome's origin is beautifully simple. He didn't get the validation he craved, so he decided if he couldn't be special alongside heroes, he'd eliminate what made them special entirely. The brilliance here? He actually commits superhero genocide to reach Mr. Incredible. We're not talking about threats and monologues. He systematically murders multiple supers testing his killer robots.
Surprising. We must bring him back. Sound the all clear, and invite him to dinner.
That's dedication to villainy, but what really elevates Syndrome is how he balances menace with personality. He's genuinely funny without losing intimidation factor. He's self-aware enough to mock villain tropes while embodying them perfectly. The tech genius angle makes him formidable, even without powers, proving brains can rival superhuman strength. Now flip to Evelyn Deavor, who fumbles everything Syndrome executed flawlessly. First problem, her name literally spells evil endeavor. Pixar wasn't exactly subtle there, but the real issue runs deeper than lazy naming. Her motivation crumbles under basic scrutiny. Superheroes didn't kill her parents. Her dad made a catastrophically poor decision during a crisis, yet she blames heroes for existing rather than her father's judgment. Even accepting grief warps logic. Her master plan makes zero sense. She's using technology to destroy faith in technology while using heroes to discredit heroes. The circular reasoning gives you whiplash. Worse still, she'd rather die than accept help from the people she's trying to expose. That's not principled villainy. That's just stubborn pettiness wearing a villain costume. Syndrome redefined what animated antagonists could achieve. Evelyn proved even Pixar occasionally drops the ball.